My third guy plays some games. Alright, hi everybody. Weather Guy here. We are back with some more great Ace Attorney Chronicles. I hope you're doing great. I am feeling not too bad. Feeling pretty good. I just had a lovely glass of tea. Had some orange chicken for dinner. It was great. No complaints. And we are going to continue on our journey. Next, we have to stop by the prison to talk to our buddy Soseki and hear his extreme ranting about how upset he is about his unluckiness, right? But yeah, I hope y'all are doing fantastic. Last time we were at the prison looking at a cell, we were talking to Gina. And before that, it was Soseki once again. This is odd. He's simply not here. Okay. Can't go here, it's blocked off. This means that I am probably missing something, which I don't like. So plan now is to go back to every room and examine everything, I guess, and see if I missed anything. That's all I can think of. I don't know why he's not at the prison. I thought he would be. Maybe he didn't go yet. Oh, here's something. What's this? It looks like part of an envelope, I think. Yes, I think you may be right. Perhaps it was torn off when the letter was opened. You know, what if... what if they're not sending letters in the envelopes? What if they're sending the frickin' bars of soap? Is that significant? It could be the case, I don't know. What's a little out of place, perhaps, when you look around the room? There's no sign of a letter, or the rest of the envelope, in fact, is there? I need to turn this down a bit for me, it's a little loud. Ah, she's right. And yet here we have the torn off end of an envelope. Just strikes me as unusual. I agree, we'd better take this just in case. Now, today might end up being a bit of a short video. I plan on ending probably once we get to the case about to start. Once we get to like the trials starting, right? Whenever we get that to be continued between there. It usually happens, but I don't know how far we are between here and there. Oh, yeah, it must have triggered another cutscene. Oh no. Inspector Gregson, back so soon? After I threw that little Japanese fellow in the clink, I went and reported this to the investigation division. 5 minutes time, this place will be cordoned off by the yard. Oh, I see. Well, we'd better be leaving then. Poor Mr. Natsume must be feeling very low, being back in a cell again so soon. I'm sure. We should probably go. Zombie! Zombie! What the fuck? What's wrong, Ryu? Come on. Yeah. What in the heck is this? No, don't be dramatic. Oh no, I had to voice act this guy. Oh no. Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow. A poor player. That struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. Oh, brother. Now, how soundeth the next part? Nice reaction there, Gregson. Is a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Indeed. Oh, happy day. Dead again. What? I don't even remember what he said. Walking Dead! Where's Rick Grimes? Oh, brother. Watched Fistful of Dollars today. That was a great movie. You should watch that. 60-year-old Western. The first of the trilogy that has the good, bad, and the ugly in it, you know? Sorry, that was random. I do that all the time. The fellow isn't dead at all? What was that nonsense he was saying, though? Shakespeare stuff. That's what it was. I think, yes, it was from William Shakespeare's Macbeth. I really need to read or watch or learn about Macbeth because it comes up all the time in fiction when I'm playing different games or watching shows or stuff. They reference Macbeth all the time, and I know basically nothing about. I don't know much about any of Shakespeare's plays, really. I know Romeo and Juliet and what that's about and the plot of that, and I learned about Much Ado About Nothing, but that was also forever ago now. That was like middle school, so I've forgotten things. Soliloquy from Act 5, Scene 5. Shakespeare. So it was that the victim, Mr. William Shakespeare, came back to life. The man had indeed been poisoned. It transpired that it hadn't killed him. He was taken by emergency carriage to a nearby hospital for treatment. And Inspector Gregson evicted us from the scene of the crime. Whatever that now was. So now we have a similar situation, I think, to what happened with Green, Olive Green, the lady in the last Osaka case, where she was nearly killed and was out of commission, right? That may be happening again here, coincidentally enough. Alright, so we still have to check out the prison at some point. Whatever do you think will happen now? I have no idea what happened, by the way, to Shakespeare. That I don't get it at all. Which is exciting. It means I get to learn things, you know? It's much different than last case. While last case was very interesting, I feel like I solved most of it pretty quickly, and on this one I have no clue at all. But maybe I'll get a big clue once the trial starts, like on the last case. Who knows? But right now I'm clueless, absolutely. What a strange situation for Mr. Natsume. Arrested for murder, but then the victim comes back to life. I think perhaps the victim was never dead in the first place. Seems very likely that Mr. Shakespeare did consume poison, as we deduced. But was it an accident, attempted suicide, or attempted murder? Or was it just some performance, right? By a Shakespeare. Till the truth can be established, I imagine the police will keep Mr. Natsume in custody. I suppose so. Let's hope it doesn't come to anything more than a night in the cells. Oh, what's this? Who is that? What's that man doing over there? It looks like he's trying to see into Soseke's lodgings. Is that a bar of soap on the windowsill? Something wrong, Mr. Ryu? Excuse me, could we have a word? Oh, that guy looks crazy. Well, that's definitely the murderer, right? Just ran off. I feel sure that I've seen that man somewhere before. Where was it? You know, I have a feeling that this is the same man who we met in the last game, who we had a brief scene of him talking with Shakespeare. And it was very weird because nothing else came of that scene. It was very out of place and random. But I'm not confident because I don't remember what the man talking Shakespeare looked like. I feel like he was some sort of mason, though. I don't remember, though, to be sure. I do too, but I don't remember. Well, we've done as much investigating here as we can, I think. He's also dressed like Curious George's owner. Perhaps we ought to go to the prison and speak with Mr. Natsume again. Good idea. Perfect. But now we can investigate whatever that thing is on the window ledge, right? Is there anything else to look at? Oh, this is still marked? I'm gonna click it anyway. Yeah, this is still the same dialogue we had last time. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, can't really select it to do anything new. Alright, let's move out to the prison. Away! There's our boy. He's very despondent, it seems. Look, Mr. Ryu. Mr. Natsume, have the police finished questioning you now? Locum student Mr. Ryu Esquire? Oh, yes? What is he? Tell me! Is he a ghost? Is he here to haunt me? Let me guess, you're talking about Mr. Sholmes? He actually calls himself a great detective, Mr. Natsume, not a ghost. But his diabolical deductions are not of this world. They've left me... cursed. I'm cursed, I tell you. Well, that sort of hurts. Credit where credit is due, Mr. Ryu. You were heavily involved in the deduction, too. Yes, moving on. We have some wonderful news. Oh. The victim that we all thought was dead has come back to life again. Now, I have a feeling that he's gonna hate this for some reason. Now, in the absolutely worst case, you could only be tried for attempted murder. That's great, isn't it, Mr. Natsume? It's terrible. Oh. I'm stuck in this cell suffering for some silly wrong end of the stick. You did it, didn't you? Confess, you're a killer. Why the mustache? Constant questions. Poor guy. Sorry to hear that. Oh, that selfish shyster. Make up your mind, are you dead or alive? If you are going to come back to life, why bother dying? Wickedly, wishy-washy, William. This guy's so great. He's my favorite. Well, it seems likely that Mr. Shakespeare was never actually dead in the first place. Yes, that might make sense, and I'm pleased that he's alive, of course. Our lively debate last night was much fun. I'd be sad to think it was our last. Oh. Oops. Mr. Natsume, does this mean that you did see the victim last night? You met with Mr. Shakespeare, didn't you? Well, we kind of already knew that, but it's nice having him admit it. I'm not saying another word. I demand to have a lawyer present. Who do you think I am? Please, Mr. Natsume, we need to hear your side of the story. Why am I cursed like this? Here we go. Now we have to talk to him. Can you tell us exactly what happened last night then, Mr. Natsume? There's nothing to tell. But, Mr. Ryu Esquire, I am eternally grateful to you for helping me with that accursed case yesterday. A case that saw poor Miss Green hospitalized as she ended up with a knife in her back. It's hard to believe that was only yesterday. It really is hard to believe, huh? After the trial was over, I trudged my weary way back to my lowly lodgings. That evening, at past 9 it must have been, I visited Mr. Shakespeare. So you did go to the victim's room then? As we feared. I didn't do anything wrong! I'd never been to his room before, it was the first time! And then what made you decide to go? I bumped into him when I arrived back at the house. We got chatting and it developed into a discussion. He had to go out, so I bade him farewell. That ties in with what Mr. Garadeb said, that the victim went out and came back after 8. We met again later that evening at around 9 or just after. Well, I took him some nice tea I'd brewed as a gift. So it was you who brought the tea that had clearly been drunk at the scene then? That's not good news. So that's where we expect the poison happening from, you know? I suppose you were discussing the works of Shakespeare, were you? Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Romeo and Juliet, who was the stronger? It was a delightful debate. I'm sure. Such a stimulating subject, Shakespeare! And the debate became very heated, so you slid poison into Mr. Shakespeare's tea? No, never, not at all! Team Juliet won, that was me, and when I left his room, flamboyant fellow was fighting fit, I swear. Categorically. Now, what's interesting about this is there is a clear parallel here between this and Shakespeare and Romeo and Juliet, is that Romeo and Juliet also had a case of someone seemingly being poisoned, but then being okay, right? So that's kind of interesting. I wonder if that's actually going to be relevant, or it's just like a nod to it, right? Mr. Natsume, you often say the same thing about yourself, I've noticed. That you have a cursed existence. I'm sure I've mentioned this to you before, but I've been here in Great Britain for a year now, and in that time I've learned that it's no place for me. It can be very trying to live in a foreign land and adapt to the ways of another culture. And again, by the way, just so we're all on the same page, we know for a fact that whatever happens here with this case, so Seke ends up okay, because this is in the past. And in the future, he's the witness to the first case. So we know that he makes it back to Japan and everything and is seemingly innocent, right? It's just about getting to that point, proving it, understanding what happens with this case. Because it's relevant in some way to the overarching thing. We learn that in the future, right? When Susato writes to Ryu, telling him that this case is relevant in some way to the overarching thing. Which I have no idea how that's going to be relevant, but it's going to be somehow. There are foreigners everywhere I look, and they all stare at me. They all laugh. You're the foreigner. That's the impression I get whenever I go out. It makes me scared to leave my room. Which is why I've become a recluse. But even in my room, I find no respite from my fears. I've moved more times than I can remember, and then 1 week ago, I moved into Briar Road. Why? Why did you choose that place? It doesn't seem very comfortable. Because the rent is cheap, I have so little money, it spoke to me. The rent? Obviously, there's a reason why it's cheap. Because the room is cursed. Cursed? Cursed how? Previous occupant, the man who lived there before I took the room, died there. Oh no. He was only a young man, but one morning he was found dead and no one could explain why. Surely no one would want to live in a room with a history like that. Yeah, I could never. I didn't. When the letting agent recommended the place, I wavered. But I want books, and books cost money, and horrible history is a small price to pay. When I realized it would mean I could buy more books, I signed the lease like lightning. Brave or blinkered. After I moved in, I soon came to realize what I'd done. I realized how horrible that room's history really was. Gosh, was it really so awful? Oh boy. Learn more about the history of it. How did the room's horrible history affect you, Mr. Natsume? What happened? And at first, it was just a feeling. The feeling of beady eyes boring into my back, watching me. You think that might just have been your mind playing tricks on you? No. My mind doesn't know any trick. That's what a terrible thing to say about yourself. It was someone else. It's been one long nightmare ever since I was given the keys to the place. Nightmare? You've been having bad dreams, you mean? All the souls who've died in that room and lean over me in my sleep. And try to strangle me. That really is horrible. And now I come to think of it, it happened again last night too. It's really odd. The very same night that Mr. Shakespeare was writhing in agony from the poison in his body. I was on the verge of being suffocated silently by those miserable spirits in my room. Gosh, that's nightmare fuel, just being suffocated every night. Hate that. You simply must move out of that room as soon as possible. Yes, you're right, I know it. That's why. I'm already searching for the next room with a history to call home. Has to be history again. I think perhaps you should try to avoid a combination with any kind of history at all. Otherwise, I'm scared that you yourself may become history. Oh, Susato knows how to make the man listen. Great. That's seemingly all of it. Of course, Mr. Lord of the Manor is worried about the curse in my room as well. You mean Mr. Garrideb? Yes, he knows that if people keep dying there, he'll never be able to rent it out again. Well, that's true, I for one wouldn't go near that place. Perhaps that may explain why the landlord pays so much attention to the gas lamps and his tenants' movements. You mean because he's worried about their well-being? He does seem to have an unusually keen interest in the amount of gas in the pipes. There must be a reason why he keeps such close tabs on the occupants of his let rooms. What do you mean he pays so much attention to the gas lamps? Oh dear, no, it's nothing to do with you, Mr. Natsume. Please forget I said anything. Oh, now you're talking about me behind my back as well? What's important is that Mr. Shakespeare isn't in fact dead at all. Once he's come around and he's able to tell us what happened, we'll be able to get you released. Yes, please. Oh, I do hope you're right. There's our buddy Gregson. Inspector Gregson! I couldn't help overhearing what you just said, and on that note, I have some good news and some bad news. Oh? Which do you want first? Always, every time, the bad news comes first. When hope is all you have, hold on to it. That's my guiding principle. Right, well, in that case, the good news it is. You wanted the bad news first, I love that. Huh? Sorry, but it's just a lot easier to explain everything that way. Why did you ask my preference? As you might have heard, the victim, Mr. Shakespeare, was just unconscious. He's come around now. Yes, we saw it happen in all its terrifying glory. He's still being treated by the doctors, but we've managed to get a written statement from him already. Oh, isn't that wonderful, Mr. Natsume? Oh, thank goodness, it's all over then. I can leave this somber cell. 1,000,000 to 1 that whatever this written statement is, it implicates Soseki, right? Sorry, no, that's not on the cards. What? Why ever not, Inspector? Mr. Shakespeare has implicated someone as being responsible for what happened last night. Implicated someone? Oh dear. You don't mean... Sorry to say I do, yes. He's pointing the finger at you, Mr. Natsume. Terrible. By sweet poison did these secrets in my life. That wicked caitiff, Soseki Natsume. No! So I'm afraid you'll be appearing in court as planned. You'll be wanting to make the necessary preparations. No! Great. And so, once again, Soseki found himself having to take the dock in the Old Bailey. Whether his room was haunted or whether he was just terribly unlucky, I knew I had no choice. The following day, I would represent him in court. Do my utmost to break the curse that blighted him. Great, and that is where we're ending today. A little bit of a shorter video, but I want to have everything nice and compartmentalized a little bit more into sections. So next time, presumably, we're going to start with the trial. Yep, trial part 1, great. And now, my favorite part, doing the trial. Things really start to open up once you start hearing the witnesses and you can cross-examine and all that. And I'm really excited, not only to see the witnesses, but to see the jurors, right? Because it's been a very, very common theme of having jurors repeat, right? From previous cases or whatever. And that's another mystery, by the way, that hasn't been cleared, is why is that happening? Why do we keep having recurring witnesses and jury members? Because that's something that is confirmed to be a mystery in the game, right? It's something that the characters have pointed out. It's like, what are the odds of this? There's thousands and thousands and thousands of people in the city. Why is it just these jurors, you know? What's going on with that? And that's quite interesting, and I'm curious to see how that is involved. It's definitely some sort of big conspiracy in some way, but I don't know how. That's all I got. Short video today. Hope you don't mind. Thank you so much for watching, like always. Make sure that you take care of yourselves. Make sure that you take care of others. And I will see you next time. Peace out.